Welcome back to the Tahoe Outdoor Show. I'm here with Zane in the snowboarding department here at BOBOS. Zane, we're talking about spring skiing and riding. Some board technology you need to know about. What do you need to know for starters?
The new boards that are coming out for spring are this new term called volume shifted. So you're making it just a little bit wider in the nose, keeping that similar waist width and tapering it down to the tail. So you practically have no tail with all nose, making it more of a play stick, just so that you don't have to try as hard in the slush.
So the width, obviously that speaks to the platform that you're standing on. How does that change for spring conditions?
So as you know, in like powder, having a wider platform makes it easier to float. With slush, it's a little different. Having a skinnier waist makes it easier to turn and maneuver in different tighter conditions, but keeping that big nose makes it easier to float. So you don't stick as much and you don't have to try as hard.
So I'm looking at three different lengths of boards here. This board here, what's the difference between this board and the other two we just talked about?
So this board is, these two are just off of length, but because these are the only ones that we have. But essentially this 154 will work like this huck knife in a 159 or a 160. Okay. So you generally want to size down on a volume shifted board, mainly because you have the same amount of contact surface as a 160 and a 154.
All right. Say you're new to the sport of snowboarding or you're ready for an upgrade. What recommendations do you give people or advice do you give them when they come in and say, hey, I'm ready to take that next step?
I would generally throw them on a huck knife or something similar, kind of a traditional board, just so that they can learn how to turn something that's a little bit more easy to turn. Right. Or maybe like even a fully rockered board, something that looks more like a banana.
Okay. You talk about rocker and camber. What do you look for in that, and what do those things actually mean?
So rocker makes it easier to turn, it makes it easier to float, and it makes it a little bit more playful. Camber is a little bit more precise. So if we throw this guy on the table, you can see that there is a good amount of camber in here in early rise. So there's about 2 millimeters of camber on the huck knife, so that when you are on the board itself, it has a little bit of early rise tip to tail. So it's going to be a little bit more precise, where something like this spring break slush slasher, it has a little bit of camber, but it's got more rocker in it. So it's not going to be as precise. It's going to make it very fun and forgiving. You're not going to try as hard, and it kind of opens up the mountain a little bit more, where you have to be a little bit more precise with something that has a little bit more camber.
All right, everybody wants to know, right? You got a sale going on?
Yes, we do. We have 20% off on all of our snowboards.
All right, get down to BOBOS, get some new gear, especially for this spring. All right, we'll be back more with the Tahoe Outdoor Show right after this.